What's up, guys? zZToastie here, Get Burnt. Today I'm going to be doing this Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Question Tag, 21 questions about Dragon Ball. And this I was tagged in by Omega Pro, I was also tagged in by zZToastie, and I was also tagged by Dion, also known as Cyriax. Go check out all their channels, especially Cyriax, because his content is amazing. Yes, that is it for that. I want to get that straight out of the way. There are 21 questions here, and I want this video to be as short as possible. Don't want to have this drag on or whatever, so let's just get started. The ones I'm going to be tagging are Kagi Films, Indakuba, and Thundershot 69. So if you guys are watching this video, and if you do watch this video, I want you guys to do this tag with these questions. I'll put the questions down below as well. But yes, thank you guys for watching this, and let's just get started. First question, who is your favorite character and why? Mine is personally Future Gohan, and it's mainly because even though we have the Gohan that's currently in Dragon Ball and a lot of people don't like him, I like Future Gohan because I like his story more. Like the fact that he was all alone after the androids in his timeline had killed everybody, Goku, Vegeta, every one of these Z fighters besides him and Trunks. I find it really cool that he alone fought off the androids for so long, trying to keep everything safe, and his death was extremely iconic in my opinion. It was, even though it was part of a special, and even though it technically was in the manga, I did think that that was an amazing thing. Like Future Gohan's character, I love his design, and I think he's just an all-around awesome character. So yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about Future Gohan. He's my favorite character. That's funny because a lot of people would expect like Goku, Vegeta to be your favorite character, but for me, it's Future Gohan. Next question, who is your favorite villain and why? A lot of you may know this if you watch my channel. Frieza. Frieza himself, I like his personality. I like him as a villain. I think he's awesome. Maybe we've been getting a little bit too much of him in the past because, you know, he's come back in various movies and especially recent Resurrection F, but it is cool that we got to see Frieza again so many times. His character is kind of iconic to Dragon Ball Z, so everybody really loves him. And my second favorite would have to be Baby, and I just wanted to slip that in. Baby from Dragon Ball GT. I know, right? Yeah, GT. But yeah, that's what I personally think. I like Frieza the most. Frieza's an awesome villain. He's cool. He's actually got a really interesting sort of way of acting compared to every other villain in Z. So yeah, that's why I like Frieza the most. Number 3, what is your favorite quote or statement? Now, this one is actually kind of long, but I would assume this is a quote. This is from Goku when he was using ×20 Kaioken on Frieza on Namek, before he was Super Saiyan, obviously, because he didn't use Super Saiyan and Kaioken at the same time. But yes, this is the quote. For Gohan, Chi-Chi, everyone on Earth, and for the future of Namek, I am not about to give up. Less than 50% power or not, if I pull off a Kaioken ×20, I at least stand a chance. I've just got to give my all and show this guy you don't mess with me and my friends. I love that quote. I love that scene a lot, and that is from Kai. It's not from the original, mainly because Kai's my preferred way of watching. That is a answer for later in this, but yeah, that's my favorite quote from Dragon Ball just because I love the determination of Goku, and even though he is not seeming to be winning, he is going to perilously fight Frieza in order to save Earth, his friends, Namek, all of that. I love that scene, and I love that part, love that quote. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Next question. Who is your favorite female character? Now, for me, it's personally Bulma. Bulma's been the one that's been there throughout the entire series since the beginning of Dragon Ball, and she's actually the most helpful in terms of everything, especially even recently in Dragon Ball Super. She's going to be going and getting the Super Dragon, or try to get the Super Dragon Balls, I guess, and that's going to be really awesome. I'm glad she's so involved now. She wasn't as involved in like the later parts of Z. She was kind of a side character, even though in Dragon Ball she was a main character, and then, you know, in Z they kind of pushed her away and she was kind of a side character behind, I guess, behind closed doors or whatever. Everybody who was fighting was the main attraction, but now in Super she's getting a little bit more attention, and I really like Bulma. I like her personality. Even though she may kind of be a little bit bratty at some times, she is a really cool character. I mean, Chi-Chi kind of changed a lot, and Android 18 really doesn't have that much of a huge personality that's very visible to people who are watching the show. So personally, Bulma for me is the only female that really sticks out. I wish there were more females in Dragon Ball, especially like people like Launch, like, because Launch was a really cool character too, but you know, after Dragon Ball she kind of just like didn't really appear that much besides filler. So it's really unfortunate, but yeah, that's she's my favorite character, Bulma, or at least my favorite female character in Dragon Ball in general. So yes, that's pretty much it for that. Next question, what is your favorite fight? Now, this for me is Majin Vegeta versus Goku, only because all the quotes that Vegeta had during that fight, along with the actual choreographed scenes in that fight, were all amazing. I liked all of them. They were all amazing, and just that fight is great. If you haven't seen it yet, please watch it. My favorite version would have to be the Kai version, like the recent Kai version, but yeah, that one is kind of tough because, you know, it hasn't been dubbed yet in Kai, which when it does get dubbed in Kai, I think that that'll probably be my favorite. But yeah, as the current moment, the Japanese one of Kai was probably my favorite one. I like it a lot. So yeah, next one. What is your favorite episode? For me, this would be in two separate categories. I'm going to separate it into Kai 2014 and then Dragon Ball Z. So Dragon Ball Z Kai would probably be, or just Dragon Ball Kai in Japan, would be episode 120, which is Vegeta's sacrifice against Majin Buu. That episode was very heartfelt. It had a much better moments, I think. And I like that scene so much with Vegeta like actually sacrificing himself against Majin Buu and all that. Him hugging Trunks and all that. It really showed difference in Vegeta's character that maybe some hadn't seen before that, which is really cool. I really like that, and that's just my favorite episode in Kai 2014. And then in Dragon Ball Z originally, probably episode 95, which is when Goku became a Super Saiyan for the first time. I really did like that episode, and that's just an iconic episode. Everyone loves it, but yeah, that's just probably my favorite one that I could think of in terms of individual episodes. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think. Then, what is your favorite Dragon Ball song? So, for me, this is probably Ku Zen Zetsu Go, which is the first opening for Dragon Ball Kai 2014. And I know that this is probably going to be talking about other Dragon Ball songs, but, you know, from when I think about other Dragon Ball songs, I don't think about names. I think mainly about just the times that they were playing at. Like, Goku becoming a Super Saiyan on Namek and Kai. That, I can, like, talk about that song, and I really do like that song, but I can't think of the name for it. And I tried finding that song name too, but I couldn't find it, which is dumb, but I couldn't find it. So yeah, if you guys actually want to tell me the name of that song in the comments down below, it's in Kai when Goku becomes Super Saiyan first time. That song that was playing during that moment in Kai. Tell me that song, because that song is actually amazing, and I was looking for it all morning. Gonna keep still looking for it, but yeah, that's personally what I think. And next is, what is your favorite movie or special? That's the Future Trunks special. I already said why pretty much in my Future Gohan thing. It's just a great special in general. I like Future Trunks' character development throughout that. And I like how in the end, it took Future Gohan's death for him to actually become a Super Saiyan. I thought that was a really powerful scene, and that's just awesome. It's dope. I love that special. So yeah, that's my favorite. Next is, what is your favorite race in Dragon Ball? For me, it's Namekians, mainly because, at least for Piccolo, we've seen that he has so much knowledge, as well as the fact that he has the ability to stretch his arms at an incredible length. And now we may not have seen that as much in Z, at least not as much as we'd want to, but yeah, we're going to be seeing it as well in Dragon Ball Super coming up in the next week, so that's going to be really cool. But yes, Piccolo can actually stretch his arms to an incredible length, as well as the fact that he can regenerate his limbs after they've been damaged, which he did against Raditz, which was really awesome. I like that a lot. So that was really cool. I like Namekians. They're awesome. They're a cool race, and that's really all I got to say. Next is, what is your favorite Dragon Ball video game? For me, it's Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and even though some may not like it, I personally think that that game itself, especially for a starter game of a series, is a really great game. And I think that when it gets built upon, it's going to be even better. So those are probably going to end up taking the top spot for those as well. But yes, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, especially because of the fact that it doesn't have to follow the, core story of Dragon Ball. It can do something somewhat different by allowing you to create a character and, give some different stuff with Future Trunks and everything like that. I like that a lot. I think that that's really cool. The second one is Infinite World, if for those of you who don't know. Not Budokai 3, Infinite World, because I like a lot more things in Infinite World than how they were done in Budokai 3. But I'll save that for another time. Next, if you were in Dragon Ball's world, who would you train with? For me, Piccolo, because I feel like everyone would say Beerus or Whis or Goku or Vegeta, but think about Vegeta. First of all, Vegeta would not train you. He would probably do the same sort of thing that Frieza did with Tagoma in Dragon Ball Super, and he would just torch you over and over again until you learned. And for Piccolo, I think Piccolo would actually, even though his training would be tough, his training seems like it would be right for a human, and it would be right for, at least to me, to just get stronger in general. Like, I don't think that I need Beerus to teach me, because Beerus would not care. Beerus would probably destroy me in the hopes of training me. So yeah, that would not be that great. But yeah, I would want to be training with Piccolo. Next, what is your saddest Dragon Ball moment? For me, it was Goku sacrificing himself at the Cell games, because as I was watching it as a kid, I saw how Gohan was allowing Cell to get him all riled up, and then he became a Super Saiyan 2, and I saw that he was obviously not going to kill Cell, and he showed this as well throughout that part. But then Goku came in at the end when Cell was about to explode and sacrificed himself for the good of the earth and for the good of his son, which I think was a big thing. Even though it was null in the end because Cell came back even stronger than ever, I still think that that was an amazing moment. It was a really sad moment for me as a kid. I think I actually cried as a kid. It was crazy. But yeah, that was actually really sad. I didn't think that was crazy. And it was before the Buu saga, or at least before I saw the Buu saga. So I thought Goku was dead and not coming back because he already had died due to the dragon, or at least not died to the dragon, died during Raditz. So I thought, that was a huge thing, and Goku's dead. But no, obviously he wasn't dead, but he came back later. So yeah, that's what I think, at least as a kid. That's what my saddest moment was. Next, what is the most shocking moment? For me, it was actually Goku sacrificing himself with Raditz in the beginning of DBZ. Because for me, I saw a few episodes of Dragon Ball before I saw Z when I was younger, but I actually didn't think that Goku would die in so early in the series. He died so quickly. I was like, wow, so they're just killing him off that quickly? He died in a meaningful way, because obviously Raditz was the biggest threat to Earth at that point. But I was like, damn, he actually died. Goku just got killed. But obviously then later Goku came back after training with King Kai. So yeah, but that's happened afterward. I'm talking about my first reaction when I first saw the series. That was my biggest gasp moment ever, because I thought, he's dead. Or surely he's dead. But yeah, that was crazy. So that was probably my most shocking moment. And next, what is the funniest Dragon Ball moment, and who is the funniest character? For me, it was Goku getting fake hit in Super, or at least that's what I can remember at the closest. The funniest character is probably Roshi. In episode 15, I believe, it was when Hercule fake punched Goku, and then Goku flew over yelling, and then he grabbed his tractor and went over the building. For me, that was hilarious, and I can't really think of a lot of times in Dragon Ball Z where it was as funny, because even though Roshi's hilarious, he's a good character, he's funny, he's been a comic relief character ever since Dragon Ball, or at least partially. He's still in Dragon Ball Z. I didn't feel like the humor with him was as strong as it was in Dragon Ball. I mean, yeah, you'd have a lot of action, but then you'd have the small scenes with Roshi grabbing either Bulma's ass or grabbing 18's tit, and for me that just didn't. It seemed kind of what's the word? It seemed kind of contrived. It didn't seem like it was in the spirit of just Dragon Ball humor. It seemed like it was just kind of contrived humor that was just shoved in there because it's Dragon Ball. And I personally don't like that as much about Z. That's probably one of my biggest cons with Z, because a lot of the stuff that came in afterward, with the funny parts, kind of was contrived, or felt contrived sometimes with Roshi. So yeah, but Roshi and stuff like Resurrection F and everything, he's pretty funny in that, and that was without him having to be a massive pervert in the actual in the movie. So yeah, I like Roshi. I think he's the funniest because there aren't a lot of characters in Dragon Ball who are just straight up funny all the time. You could say Chaozu or Puar, but even they had some serious moments. Not Puar, but Chaozu did. So yeah, I would say Roshi's the funniest out of everyone in Dragon Ball. So yeah, that's for me. And next, what is your most memorable moment? For me, it was the Goku and Vegeta beam struggle, because as a kid, I was there on the couch watching that, and that was just crazy. I was just watching Goku and Vegeta with the beam struggle, and I was jumping around, dude. That was crazy. I thought that was really crazy. But yeah, that's probably my most memorable moment, because that was just an incredible moment for me. That was just insane. But yes, next question. How do you prefer to watch Dragon Ball? For me, it's Kai, because Kai has better voice acting. For me, it's better paced. It takes out a lot of the filler, and I'm not talking about the filler the filler arcs. I'm talking about filler the filler in between fights where they're just staring at each other and everything like that. It wasn't tense for me as a kid. It wasn't incredible. It was just boring. So I'm glad they took that out in Kai. I'm glad they kind of put out a version that at least somewhat more resembled the manga than what they previously put out. You could say it's milking Dragon Ball, but I personally like that version more, like to watch it more. And when Buu Saga gets done, I'm going to like that probably a lot more than the original Buu Saga. So yeah, that's just how I feel about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Kai. But yes, next thing, what is something that you have of Dragon Ball that most fans don't? This one, I don't have anything. I really don't have anything besides a few posters and a manga chapter of Gohan versus the Cell Juniors. Besides that, I don't really have that much Dragon Ball merchandise. Mainly, I play the games a lot. That's why I don't have that much real Dragon Ball merchandise. I know that a lot of people probably have like some crazy stuff. Like some people probably have like some figures that nobody else has or something like that. But I'm personally not one for collecting figures just because I don't have the money to sink into it. And I don't know. That's just me. I don't really have anything that people don't have of Dragon Ball. So that's just me. Which fake transformation, fusion, or character do you like the most? For me, I would count this as non-canon, but I would still count it as fake. The false Super Saiyan form from the Lord Slug movie, I thought, even though it was, you know, obviously trying to be Super Saiyan, but it wasn't really Super Saiyan because it hadn't happened yet, I thought it was still cool that it had like no pupils and everything like that. But that was when I was a kid. I still like it a lot to this day because it's still cool, and I still think it was actually a pretty dope form. But that's really all I could think of. There's not many other fake transformations that I can really think of that I enjoy a lot, because it's just they're really not all good. Like usually transformations aren't really that great when they're made up by fans or whatever. So yeah, it's just what I personally think. But yeah, next thing, what is your number one thing you love about Dragon Ball? For me, it's the humor. Personally, for me, it's the humor. I like Dragon Ball's humor, which is why I'm probably enjoying Super a little bit more than other people are, because the humor in Super is actually really good. They make really good jokes in Super. It's pretty funny, and that's just something I really love about Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball Z, it was kind of contrived, as I said before, kind of forced in a little bit, but here in Super and in the original Dragon Ball, I love the comedy. It's funny. It's probably the most unique thing to me about Dragon Ball. The fights, you could say, but the fights like to that magnitude or even bigger than that happen in so many other anime that it doesn't really stick out to me. The fights are great, and it's probably my second favorite thing I love about Dragon Ball, because seeing the characters fight is pretty interesting. But I mean, for me, it's the humor. The humor is what really sticks out about the series, because Dragon Ball humor is kind of, you know, by itself. It's not really like every other anime series in terms of its humor. Other anime series try to probably mimic some forms of maybe Dragon Ball's humor, but it really never fits like how it does in Dragon Ball. In Dragon Ball, you can tell the humor is kind of genuine. So that's what I really enjoy. That's my favorite thing about Dragon Ball. Next thing, what is the number one thing you hate about Dragon Ball? Probably for me, as I said before, the pacing in the original Dragon Ball Z was pretty bad, in my opinion. A lot of parts that were just so wasted time that it bothered me a lot. That's why I like Kai so much. So yeah, that's probably my most hated thing about Dragon Ball, because I really don't have many other things to hate about Dragon Ball. So yeah, that's really it. And then the last question, where does the Dragon Ball series rank in your favorite anime of all time? For me, the Dragon Ball Z series doesn't really rank in my top 10. Dragon Ball probably would rank in my top 10 somewhere, probably like around 7 or 6, but I do not think that Dragon Ball Z is in top 10. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad, but I don't think that it really gets a spot on the top 10. Now, a lot of people will hate me for this on Twitter. A lot of people are like, wow, how dare you not like Dragon Ball Z? But, you know, personally, I just think that Dragon Ball is a much better paced series. It's a funnier series. It has better action, I think, in some points than Dragon Ball Z, and I think that it just carries itself a whole lot better as a separate series, and I like it a lot more. So that for me, Dragon Ball maybe gets in the top 10. Dragon Ball Z doesn't get in the top 10. Dragon Ball GT obviously doesn't get in the top 10, and Dragon Ball Super obviously doesn't get in the top 10. So that's what I think, but I watch a lot of anime, so, you know, you could take that as a grain of salt, I guess, because I don't only watch Dragon Ball. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that topic. But yes, that has been the 21 questions Q&A for Dragon Ball. If you guys want me to do any other stuff like this, that's whatever. But yeah, this is something I just wanted to do because I got tagged like 3 times separately. So, I mean, why not actually do the video? So yes, I'm going to tag, as I said before, Thundershot and Dakuba and Kagi Films. Guys, get your videos done, and that's really it for this video, guys. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't, then tell me why in the comments down below. But I really like to see you guys' thoughts, and what are your answers to these questions? What do you love the most about Dragon Ball? Or who you think's the funniest character? What's the most meaningful moment? Like, all this stuff. What is your favorite moment in Dragon Ball? Tell me in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, and peace out.